Hey everyone, and welcome back to Not the Newsletter, episode 11. We're back here with Juan again. I'm wearing the same shirt because it's the same day.
Dude, me too.
I know, right? But today we're talking about some more awesome things in the AI, cybersecurity, and other technology space. Juan's showing us his dance moves, and we're excited to jump right into this today. So the FBI has been getting into the cryptocurrency coin and market space themselves. They've released their own crypto coin. Yeah. What I think it's interesting, I think it was a space that was, it's sort of like the wild, wild west. So it feels weird that the government's getting involved.
Yeah, I would agree that crypto. I mean, think of how many things have also got like popular in that ecosystem
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
of crypto.
Dogecoin and all
Right,
the
exactly what I was
meme
thinking
coins
of.
that have come out. Yeah. But they created a coin in an effort to sort of start investigating some of these. I don't know how you would use it. There's an article here that kind of goes over it a little better, but they're trying to prevent, I guess, some sort of overinflated valuations on these coins from happening by sort of creating probably some fake news around things, and then the coin gets really valuable, and then they just get rid of it, right? And because it's not like there's no SEC involvement, there's not any other things, there's nothing to prevent anyone from.
So they're kind of doing this as like a testing kind of thing, or is they kind of doing it just to like help the economy out or whatnot?
I think it's probably to help
pump
people.
money into this.
Obviously, I think a lot of people have been scammed out of these things, right? Because these crypto coins are just like, oh, you should buy in. It's going to go whatever. The Dogecoin is going to be the next, but it's going to be the dollar's going to get replaced, and you need to buy Doge, right? And people spend millions of dollars, and then it like just sinks into oblivion or stays exactly the same as it was. And so I think what they've been doing is making their own coin. I think it's based on Ethereum, so that it was, if anyone bought it, it still had value, because obviously Ethereum is probably kind of the base currency of a lot of things. I feel like that and Bitcoin, I feel like kind of trend with each other.
Yeah, it's not like made up like mentioned Dogecoin or something.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
that,
they just weren't taking people's money, but it did sound like they were doing this in an attempt to like find it. And so it sounds like they did create and find a whole bunch of sort of nefarious things. Not that that's surprising that there's nefarious and fraudulent things happening in the digital currency space, but
who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Well, I know there's a lot of like in bigger cities. I'm not sure about Milwaukee because I don't go into Milwaukee very much, but I know like New York, Chicago, there are places that take Bitcoin
as currency.
Yeah, like use that cash, credit, or Bitcoin. You're like, what?
Right.
Bitcoin. I don't have any Bitcoin.
Right. And how would one even do that? You have to. I mean, I've just out of curiosity bought some like few dollars worth of Bitcoin here and there, and the process is really weird. You have to send them some sort of like long, I don't even know if it's a hardware address or whatever. I'm not savvy at this, so I don't know if I know all the right words to use here, but
it's all foreign to me. I have not invested anything in any kind of Bitcoin, so
yeah. But there's like this really long, almost like a IP address tracking number that you use to sort of like sell a specific amount, and then that goes, and it takes a while for all the computers, because obviously Ethereum or Bitcoin, it checks all the systems,
validity and everything.
Like all the systems check, like, hey, this person wants to transfer this. They own these coins, and then it comes back. But it's not immediate. So if you were to go buy something like with tap to pay or something, like I just don't know how that would work. You'd almost have to use a third-party app that would let you pay that way.
Interesting.
Because then it would probably create the validity for it first, and then you do it. But it's interesting to see that the federal government's getting involved and making sure that this is maybe more above water than it was before, which seems strange, because I thought the whole point of this whole thing was to stay below water, and now they're getting in there to help people out so they don't get scammed by fraudulent.
Well, I think it's kind of good they're like dipping their toes in it, because you don't want it to go like unchecked for so long. I feel like there's so many things in cyberspace, I guess, and internet that are just the government doesn't keep track of.
Right.
And they're trying to keep track of it. They're trying to learn how to keep track of it. It's just difficult trying to navigate that space of like, okay, we need to monitor this, but we also need to make sure people don't feel like Big Brother is watching or something like that. So,
yeah.
And when I think of like crypto stuff, I think of like I feel like it would be easy for people to get scammed off that. Kind of like how you said, they're going to send you, there's this long already thing, and anybody could send you something and say like, all right, we need to double check that your email's right, all this stuff. And I go through the process just to find out that I just lost $20,000.
Right, or millions. They're saying some investors ran millions of dollars into this thing. In some cases, yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it's definitely like, it definitely feels very like criminal in regards to where the people are like sort of like washing currency through these things and creating sort of like false senses of value, and then
it kind of reminds me. So there's, I don't know if you've ever heard of this. It's not crypto, but in my head, I kind of view it as crypto in a sense. It's called NFTs.
Sure, yeah.
So NFTs are like this
non-fungible tokens.
Yes. So their big shtick is like they're all digital, and you have to buy it then and there or whatever, or it's going to go away forever. And they have this in so many things. It's usually really popular.
Art. Or
with
like
art, yes, art or some kind of like software or like games and stuff like that. So there have been so many people that have made a quote unquote NFT.
Sure.
And people buy it, but they don't get anything for it, and they can't refund it back because it's quote unquote gone.
Yeah, because it went to Bitcoin or some other.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's, I guess, how it ties together. The way I was thinking about it.
Yeah, and honestly, I think to have some more, more controls in that space would be good. So they're researching it. So I think that's good that they're kind of getting involved.
So I think that's really good that they're trying to at least do something about it.
I just don't know what they would be able to do if they find out that, hey, there's these things happening. I don't know what control you have over those.
The FBI can do whatever they can.
Well, yeah, they're going to get in. They're going to do that.
They're going to make it work.
They will. Yeah. And the FBI also recently, on other news, maybe it's not the FBI, but I think the police have used it, is AI to try to help solve crimes.
Ooh, that sounds kind of sketchy.
It is kind of sketchy, but there was a murder that happened in Akron, Ohio, and I think they tried all the normal things they would try to do, like track the cell phone with towers and see they found
normal like investigating process,
normal investigative things, like look at cameras and video footage and whatever, and they were sort of left with maybe not the information they wanted, and so a firm reached out and said, hey, we have a thing. It uses AI and it pulls a lot more data, and it'll find things, and it'll geolocate people almost live and find things and do stuff, and we can backtrack it to particular times of day. And so that was used. And
this was like a random firm that just reached out to him.
They've done a lot of these. I can find where it is, but I think this firm has done a lot of this. They use 700 algorithms, and it's cheap, $310 a case.
That is super. I'm not in the world of like trying to solve cases.
Right. And, that's cheap. You're like trying to solve a problem.
That would be
like I feel like that would be there'd be no budget constraints there. Like, hey,
right?
I think I can solve this crime. But it's $309. But they and it's been used for a lot of cases, I think. But hopefully it's been used in the same way we like to think of AI. That it's always checked for its validity, right?
I would hope so, especially when you're involving people's lives.
Right.
Yeah.
We've seen AI, as you tell it to write an article or do a thing, and you're just like, wow, some of this data is not close, right?
Yeah.
And so to take that same AI and try and have it solve a murder case
that's why I was like, that sounds kind of sketchy to me.
Yeah, it's a little sketchy. No, but this cybercheck agency has done 24,000 cases or searches since 2017. So a lot of people are using this thing. And I think they've determined that from some of these cases, it's maybe not as accurate as they thought, because
big shocker.
Yeah, big shocker. It wasn't quite as good as they had hoped it would be. So
like, what's so do they do like just big cases, or do they do like little stuff too? Like,
yeah, I'm sure it could
like,
be little
someone stole something from my store.
Right. Yep. And maybe that's enough. Maybe for some other cases it really works well.
I'm trying to think how they would even implement that. If I don't have cameras, I don't have this. If I'm at the end of my rope and I gotta reach out to this company about an AI to help me.
And why does this AI have access to things? Like, what does it have access to?
Right.
Like, is this all public information? Is this like, I know some of the cameras are public, right? Some of the traffic cams and things like that are public.
But still, the police and everybody would have access to that.
Right. And that's the thing. I don't know, why would this place have access to people's like cell phone history or location, right? That seems weird, right?
That seems super weird. Because you can't just like buy. I can't call my phone provider and be like, hey, I need to know the location of.
Tell me where my wife is.
Yeah, right.
She stopped sharing her location with me. I need to find her.
Verizon, I need you to tell me where my wife is.
Exactly, right. So anyway, I think it's...
She's at Pick and Save.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
Thank goodness. We are really out of milk.
Right.
But it's just, it does seem strange that I feel like there's maybe a sense that AI is this silver bullet that we can just, if we just use AI, guys, we're good. That's how we figure this whole thing out. And then I think people are shocked when it's not as good as they think, or it doesn't give them the data they want.
I would say you're right. Yeah, I would say there's a group of people. I think there's two groups of people. Three. I'm a liar. One group that thinks AI is going to be like this crazy, incredible,
Right.
like lifetime changing thing, which one could argue it could be. Second group, AI is absolutely untrustworthy. Do not use it. Never implement it. Don't mess with it at all. And then there's a third group that are just like, you know what? It's just AI is gonna do its thing. I don't really want to be part of the space. It'll just grow and kind of do its thing without me, which is fine.
Yeah.
I was talking about this for some reason. I can't. Oh, the silver bullet thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think for a lot of those people, I think it's a nice thing to think about, but AI is not there. I don't think it's close to being there yet. It might be. I don't know. Like I don't typically delve into the AI space for that. I just kind of stick to the hey, how do I learn Spanish? Like some like fun stuff like.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because the firm that did all this stuff, they were kind of asked like, "Hey, show us your work, show us the proof," and he's like, I can't do that. There's zettabytes worth of data. Like we can't possibly show you how we got this.
The firm told him he couldn't show them.
Yeah, 100%. So you know, there's like a thing. Just like no. It'd be like in my math classes. They'd be like, "How'd you get this answer?" And I'm like, I got the answer, all right? Like, I got the answer. And they're like, no, that wasn't my question. How did you get your answer? I'm like, well, I learned how to do the thing and I programmed.
Well, now it makes me think, do they look this company up at all and go back to any of their previous employees and be like, hey, how do they do?
Yeah.
Did all of the 24,000 cases or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Like, did they go like, oh, they were all fantastic? Like,
I mean, hopefully it's a smaller, I could see like a smaller case, right? Like, I lost my dog. Wonderful. Use AI to find my dog. Someone hit and run my car last night. Like, wonderful. Use AI for some of that stuff.
But it goes back to what you said. Like now we really break it down. Like, how are they doing this? Are they just making a scenario, or are they just saying like, man lost dog in New York?
They said they're using public data, so they're saying whatever they can publicly access, the tool can publicly. That's where they're getting the information from.
Interesting.
But yeah, maybe they. I don't know.
It's scary, not because AI is scary. It's scary that somebody had the idea to try and. Because it almost sounds like, just from this, it almost sounds like a scam. Almost.
It's scary that there's zettabytes worth of data that they could scrawl to find this stuff, right? Like, how do you track, and why would my mobile location be trackable on the internet? That's weird.
Yeah.
Unless again, maybe they are registered as a carrier and can dig into that system a little bit and find something.
They'd have to be registered as a carrier with a bunch of places, though.
Seems weird, though. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, don't use AI for everything. I think
don't use AI to solve crime. That's what we learned.
Yeah. So on
another note, speaking of AI,
I was gonna say, speaking of AI,
ChatGPT. I'm not sure if anybody out there is familiar with that. ChatGPT, which is arguably one of the first popular AI software to be introduced into the world. They lost some of their big CEOs as of
I like to say CEOs plural, isn't there just supposed to be one?
Well, they're like high people.
No, actually, there was multiple CEOs.
Multiple CEOs.
Yeah, so I think there was like a temporary CEO, and then like
well, that was like in the summer. He like left,
right?
Or he got rid of. They had a temporary one, then he came back.
Right.
So, anyways, they lost like 3 or 4 of their higher ones though, because they didn't like the direction the company was moving it to. Apparently, there's talks in the company that they're going to move, because the big thing about ChatGPT is that they're free to use.
Right.
They're free, open source. Anybody, I have to make an account. I can use it. I can ask them questions. I can do whatever. They do have like a premium thing, kind of like how everything does nowadays. But I guess the direction of the company, according to these CEOs, is that they're just going to move to like some like high paid subscription. They don't want to make it free anymore.
Sure.
They're going to just have it just pay to use, and it's going to be that was not the original idea of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So they're kind of going away from the company. And Microsoft has actually picked up, I believe, I know for sure one, but like maybe 2 of these CEOs to help them with their AI now.
Sure.
Copilot.
Smart.
So I thought that was a very interesting thing.
Poach some angry people. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I respect him a little bit for they had such a high stake in this company.
Right. To just walk away from it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just walk because it didn't fit the standards of why they created the company.
And I do love that because honestly, I've had conversations.
That gives me hope for AI.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and it gives me hope for the technology space because I do like the open nature of some things. Right. There's some things like we use things for Wi-Fi, like Unify and things that are, at least from a like software perspective, sort of open. Right. Like not that it's necessarily like open source, but like once you get in the ecosystem, like you kind of just get to use it, and you don't have to worry about like I have to license this every year and all the other things that sort of like big tech tends to do. Of like they're just like how do I create this thing where you get stuck?
This continuous money pumping machine.
Right, you get stuck now, and so now you're just gonna have to pay us forever and ever.
Yeah.
And I think I do like these things like that where the sort of company model is no, we meant to make this sort of available to the average person. And so I do dislike it when things start to like sort of veer back to the thing. But I do worry about all those companies because like Unify is like you start to worry of like, hey, this is a really cool thing. What happens if 5 years from now they're like, guys, we could make a lot of money if we charged everyone that used this like even $10 or 20.
Right.
Huge, right? If there's millions of people that use this thing, we could make billions more dollars by doing something small.
Yeah. So
it's annoying though.
It is annoying because, like you said, it's not even just tech. It's like I feel like a lot of companies move to this because it's all about like how much money. Which I mean, I can respect that. I mean, obviously.
But then that seems kind of shady, right? Because then you're like, hey, was your attempt to like, you were, I don't know, like it's just a little shady to like all of a sudden, I don't know, as a business person, you're like, was that your plan the whole time, right? Make it free, millions of people fall in love with it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
right?
Like hook them in, kind of like
you find the rug,
going fishing, like,
and then you pull out the rug.
Yeah. Going fishing, like, oh.
Yeah. And the whole time, the rug you were standing on has a hole in it that like leads you down into this really expensive thing.
I hope it's not like that. I like to think maybe this is like
obviously not because people are leaving, right?
Right.
So
The optimist in me. I like to think that like people when they start out these endeavors like this,
right,
that's not the case.
Right.
I think what tends to happen is that, and I'm sure you could say this too, like about other companies, they get like a little taste of like,
sure,
oh, people really love this, and they'll pay like a bunch of money for this.
Right.
People are like, oh, then let's do it.
Right.
So, no, but yeah, at the end of the day, I really respect those CEOs for doing what they did.
Mm-hmm. They probably got paid a lot of money too, so they probably wasn't just like they were leaving a $30,000 a year job. Like they probably were making like
no, they took a risk. Yeah,
like I mean, just to like leave. I mean, if you have a lifestyle and you're making millions of dollars a year and just like, meh, leave. Like that's saying something. Like you gotta really be convicted to like just do that, jump off a cliff.
Yeah, and I mean, I hope those people who did leave find solid ground. Like I said, I know like one for sure, maybe two of those CEOs got picked up by Microsoft, and I can only imagine Microsoft is like, hey, you guys are gonna come on board, and we're gonna make it happen.
You might even have those conversations in advance of just being like, hey guys, I'm thinking about leaving. If I did, would you hire me?
Maybe that's why they were so confident about leaving. Like
let the dust settle a little bit first, and then like,
pushing agendas.
I suppose if you're that high up too, that maybe you're just like, you just know you're that valuable. I suppose. If you're the CEO of ChatGPT, people probably like, what you're doing in the AI space, and that probably comes with a little bit of.
Yeah, I suppose like I would feel a lot more confident leaving my job knowing that like I am part of one of the higher ups of one of the best AI companies. And
it's the thing that everyone uses as their base platform anyway, right? Like, go work
all of them.
Copilot, Apple Intelligence. I mean, a lot of them are still using ChatGPT as the core. Anyway, like, hey, do you want me to help you integrate and we'll get the stuff done? And like, that'd be.
I mean, you're right. Actually, I didn't think about that, even though I knew it somewhere in the back of my mind. Is that it's so free to use, like, and they're so open,
right?
That
what happens then?
Because it's so free and open.
Yeah, I mean, what happens if Copilot and Apple Intelligence and whatever?
If they decide to go free, or are you talking about?
No, like the platform is OpenAI, is it not?
Yeah.
Okay. So if that becomes not free anymore.
Oh yeah. Okay. Going back.
The entire model is busted for them. Right?
Oh right. Yeah.
Their own.
Well, yeah. Then it becomes the game of like, well, they're doing it. Maybe we should do it.
Well, not only that, but they'd have to rewrite
their entire
AI.
I gotta assume at this point they at least have a good base in their like tech teams that are like.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
We should call them.
Hey, how are you guys doing with AI?
hey, I know you guys kind of like we're integrating with OpenAI and some stuff. Like, you guys write your own yet?
I know you guys are using ChatGPT as the backbone, but
how's it going?
yeah, I hear they're going through some hard times right now.
Mm-hmm. You guys worried about that at all? They might go the VMware route and get bought by someone giant and make it really expensive to operate.
True.
VMware was the same way, right? They were free.
Yes.
You know, it's like, and I think it was I didn't even mind that there was a paid version of it, right? But it got you in the door, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, I could use VMware as long as I didn't need it for mass deployments. I probably could, you know, I'm getting into the space. I'm a new tech. We're a small company. You could like learn and use the software.
Yes.
And then it's like, hey, we need to deploy this in large, you know, businesses and things like that where they need licensing. Then you kind of stepped up to that next tier.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then they're taking all these things away from us. That feels mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't mind a model like that where it's like
Right.
you have a decent like free version of it, try it out, see if you like it, see if
Right.
you even use it.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, then I have no problem
Right.
paying for the premium or pro or
Yep.
plus or ultra or whatever people name it nowadays.
Because it might be garbage. I think it proves that you have a good product too. If you're willing to give it away, it proves that you're probably going to get people into the next tier, right?
Yes.
Right.
I would agree with that.
Honestly, the people that I know that pay for OpenAI or ChatGPT do it for that reason, right? They feel part of the I don't know, the culture, the community. You know, you're just like, hey, I want to support this thing. I think they're doing cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll pay $20 a month out of my own pocket. I know people pay for it personally a lot of these cases.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I've thought about it a few times, even just buying.
Yeah, because you're just like, hey, I
ChatGPT.
like the community. I like where this is going. I think if that changes, those things tend to fall away, and you end up with what's next. Someone else is going to come up with something, right? Like, just creates an opening for someone else to be like, we'll take that spot.
Yeah.
You know, might take some time, but yeah,
that's what's happening in ChatGPT.
That's what's happening in ChatGPT. A lot of AI. Although I think when we talk about this podcast, I think AI is the first thing I say usually. So
I feel like it's hard not to nowadays.
Yeah.
It's just ingrained in so many things.
Yeah. Dumb AI.
Hit my mic, sorry.
Mm-hmm. It's fine.
That's why you got to be careful on your computers and devices and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Because of AI.
Well, I mean, just because of AI, all the fun and also scary things that can happen. Like,
I like how they called it taking a sabbatical. Starts in August, goes to the end of the year.
that's the kind of sabbatical I want.
Uh-huh. What are you going on a sabbatical for? My head hurts.
Sounds good. Take the next 4 months off.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I think there should be sabbaticals. I like that idea. Yeah. Good stuff, Juan. Anything else this week?
Just take care of yourself. Watch out for everything out there. The world's a fun place. Just be aware of everything that's going on, though. So
make sure to take a sabbatical.
Make sure to take a 4-month sabbatical.
Yeah,
treat yourself.
Find some time to treat yourself, and we will see you guys on the next episode of Not the Newsletter. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Peace.